Twins of Reddit. In what ways did you take advantage of having a twin? I'm not a twin but have identical twins. One year, one of them got tired during a shopping trip for school clothes. She said to her sister, "Try this on. I want to see how it looks on me." Actually just did this wedding dress shopping. I was stuck between two and made my twin try one on while I had the other on. It was very helpful. I can unlock his phone with facial recognition and send stupid messages to other people from it. My dad is friends with identical twins and he told me this funny story. He was with them at an open house for their aero club. My dad and the two twins are all pilots and were supporting the event. Someone was really curious and asked the twins if there was any truth to the stories about twin telepathy, where twins have some sort of psychic connection. They were both quiet for a few moments and it started to get uncomfortable. The man looked a little embarrassed and said something along the lines that he was just curious and it was a silly question. One of the twins looked him in the eyes and said, "Oh, it's not a problem. We were just discussing how we were going to answer." There was a moment of confusion on the man's face and the twins busted out laughing, saying they had been waiting for an opportunity to try that joke out. My twin and I used to switch classes to take exams for each other in middle and high school. It was pretty fun. But we started to differ in looks as we got older, so it probably wouldn't work anymore lol. Although, our voices still sound exactly the same. So we can often trick our parents on the phone and stuff like that. Also, not trying to say we have telepathy, but when you spend literally every waking second of your life together, we can always kind of know what each other is thinking. It's like we've developed our own language. I heard a story about two twin girls at my high school who tried that once and they almost got away with it, but the one taking the test for the other accidentally wrote her own name on it. I have a twin brother but we never did a switcheroo or anything. It's probably much more mundane than people think. To me he's just my brother. One great thing though is I don't have to try to remember the names of random acquaintances because no one remembers which one I am. I was good friends with identical twins in college. My favorite story with them was one night at the bar. One of them was hooking up with a girl and walked away to either go to the bathroom or get a drink or something. At that very moment, his brother showed up and walked into the bar, and the girl just grabbed him and started kissing him. The look of shock happiness on his face was hilarious. 2 cakes on our birthday. I know of a pair of twins, and when they were younger they developed their own way of speaking, not with different words and phrases, but they meshed their words in such a way that they are difficult to understand. They have a sibling who's able to understand most of what they are saying, but is not fluent, so to speak. Around other people their words don't mesh, but around each other they revert back to their speech patterns. I have a twin brother. The advantage is always having someone to talk to. No matter how good or shitty our days were, we're there for each other. Yep, there was one time when I had my brother's ID so I could pick up a food order he'd paid for with his credit card over the phone. But they didn't even ask to see it when I got there. I'm a twin. Inside jokes. My twin brother and I have so many inside jokes even now at 30 years old, and the best part is our minds work alike that we only have to say 1 or 2 words and the other one is busting up laughing. Our other brothers and each of our wives look at us like we're nuts, but most people don't get it. There's a connection there that normal siblings just can't have. He was my first roommate after all. Would you say he used to be your roommate? In my high school there was an unusually high number of twins, as in, minimum 3 sets of twins per 90-person class. One class had 6 sets. A common prank was for twins to switch classes for a period or day. Most of the time the teachers caught them. They were very used to it, but there were 2 brothers that always got away with it. They were just too identical in looks, voice, and mannerisms. One of those guys had a crush on me and to this day, I still don't know which one it was lol. All the twins got a special group photo in the yearbook every year, too. Downside is some people fetishize it. I had my ex-boyfriend beg for a threesome with my twin, which was gross and weird. He offered to buy both of $600 designer bracelets if we did it. Sharing birthday gifts can suck as well. Advantage is always having someone to go somewhere with, whether it be a party, lunch, shopping, wherever. Twice the clothes. Oh yes. Also being able to choose 2 colors of the same clothes you like. My brothers are twins, and the only thing I remember them talking about that they took advantage of is one twin would take spankings for the other twin. One of my brothers is a Marine, who's always been pretty tough, I guess you'd say. And the other brother is a very feminine guy who gets very emotional and won't take a punishment easily. He's gay. Although I am not saying it's because he's gay that he's like that, it's just who he is. So basically, the first brother told me when we were kids he would always take spankings for his brother because getting spanked only hurt for a second and didn't really bother him, and it would save our weaker brother from having to endure something that would seriously affect him. It's hard to talk about taking advantage of being a twin because there aren't really opportunities to do that. I guess people think of the movies where you do pranks and trick people into thinking there is just one of you or something, but real life isn't really like that, since even identical twins always look distinguishable to people who know them. One cool thing about having a twin is you are in the same classes together, so if you are the irresponsible one and don't remember what the homework is, your twin probably remembers. Also, you can have a wider friend group. But that's all I can think of really. Twin here. This question's answers vary vastly based on if they're identical or fraternal. My twin brother and I are fraternal, so the main advantage was always having something to do with someone. We are very different personally, so it was more akin to lifelong best friend than having a copy of myself walking around. Damn, there are very few actually upvoted stories from first-hand twins. Some of them are just plain boring. This is probably too late, but here are some of mine. Grade school. I took science period 1 and my brother had it period 2. I took a test and at the end the teacher goes over the answers. I took the test, walked out of class, switched my sweater and walked back in to ace the test for my brother. Multiple times I've forgotten my ID for bars or WE. We regularly just had each other our IDs to get passes. It's come in handy when we were making films in HS. We utilized the ability to make it look like one person playing two people. I've switched classes in high school to ask a girl out for my brother. Didn't really work, and I was forced to take his class all week to convince the teacher we didn't switch. Had an ongoing bet with my physics teacher that we could switch on him without him noticing. If we succeeded, I would get an A on the final. So for months I would come in acting confused where I sat and kind of just made it seem normal. On the day we were taking the final, we switched. It's easy. Everyone is not interacting, it is face down looking at a scantron. He filled out the scantron with his name and turned it in. Moments later I walked in being like, God damn it, you took my test. Got an A. I have a twin brother. I'm a girl, and it sucked. We went to the same class for 8 years and shared the same bedroom. Shared the same friends and were always compared. I always wished we were 1 year apart so that we didn't have to see each other 24 hours a day. When it's 2 boys or 2 girls it's different. Those 8 years were hell. He was always mean to me, hid me, wouldn't let me hang out with his friends even though we were all in the same class. We are 22 now. I don't think there is a single advantage in my case. That doesn't mean it's bad. We're grown up now. The problem was that they made us go to the same class and that made us grow apart. When you're forced to do something, you want to do that less. They shouldn't have forced us. That's a bummer. My twin sister, I'm a guy, and I similarly shared a lot. We were always in the same classes until high school. We both did reasonably well in school, but in very different subjects. So where she was strong, I was usually weak, and vice versa. Having each other doing the same stuff meant we were able to work on stuff together and better explain it. It was annoying having the same friends though. Neither of us was as super social, both very introverted. So we had a small friend group and that wound up meaning we got compared a lot. I never really minded, but it definitely made my sister kind of hate being a twin. She likes being unique in all aspects. So while she always liked being a twin since that's uncommon, us being fairly similar and whatnot and how people treated us because of it really annoyed her. My twin brother and I grew up with a love of pranks and excellent poker faces. Hilarity ensued. We once convinced someone at school that we were cousins that happened to look alike. Looking back, he probably thought our dad was messing around. We convinced someone in college that we had never met before orientation and were randomly assigned to the same room. Kinda similar to Parent Trap. We turned in each other's papers and sat in on classes when the other was sick. For a year, I pretended to be my brother because I was too shy to admit we were twins. We'd meet up after classes and swap stories of how each other's friends were doing. And that's how we kept up with our friends at school until I finally broke the news in sophomore year. Nothing shows how rare twins are like this post does. Not me. I have 2 female friends who are identical twins. Legit, no one can tell the difference between them. When twin 1 is asked a question and can't answer, twin 2 will say I'm twin 1 and twin 1 is twin 2 and vice versa. That's one of the many reasons why I always wanted to have a twin. Not me, but my brothers, not identical, but pretty close. Names changed to protect the guilty. When they were young, 16 or 17, Bob was out driving and got pulled over for speeding. He only had a couple points left on his license, so he said he forgot his license at home, and gave the cop Jack's name. Cop goes, pulls up the record, gives Jack his ticket and off they go. Being a good bro, Bob told Jack, and of course paid the ticket. Warned him he better be careful because now he only has a couple points left on his license too. Funniest part of the story, Bob is now a police officer. I make absolutely every mundane task into a 2-man job if I can. No matter how easy it would be to do on my own. If I can rope my brother in, I do. Grocery shopping, dishes, mowing, cleaning, no matter the job. I ask that he pitches in or makes me pitch in if he started the job. I always include him with my friends and social obligations when possible. Same goes for him with me. I always include him in every co-op game when possible. We try to tackle every game together. I always seek his input on writing, on jokes, relationships, work, musical discoveries. The cumulative effect is absolutely everything is easier. I always have someone in my corner. Someone who cares. My best friend is always there for me and he brightens up every moment of my life. I could not ask for anything more. Love you, Jim. I have a twin. I'm a woman. And he's a man. And by far the most common question I get if I tell someone I have a twin brother is, are you identical? So, I'd say the greatest advantage is alerting me to people who don't think before they speak. No, really. Now that we're adults, we are more like close siblings than anything. And we both lead lives in different professions in different states. But when we were kids, I would say the biggest advantage to having a twin is always having a friend and not being alone when the world is scary to little kid. When I see friends posting pictures of little X's first day of preschool, my reaction is always, oh my god, you're sending that 3-year-old into the world alone. And then I remember most of you poor sods had to do it all alone, even when it was scary. And it was so nice that we always knew we had a friend. We actually opted to be together in classes until 3rd grade despite protests from the school, after which we tried different classes, and from 6th grade we were in different schools altogether. So not like we were joined at the hip for life, just for those formative years.